Today's leftists are nothing like the liberals of even 10 years ago, and they've totally taken over the Democrat Party. They're calling all the shots. No one even bothers trying to stop them. Hannity just referenced that when they're destroying private or public property. Local and state authorities, all Democrats here, they cower when the Birkenstock Bolsheviks occupy huge swaths of a city like Seattle. Have they sent free vegan pizzas to all the angry squatters yet? I'm expecting that. Extra pairs of skinny jeans, foot rubs, salt scrubs. Wait, by the way, look at these videos. I thought they were against borders. There's nothing about this bunch that's liberal, because the old liberals started the free speech movement at Berkeley in 1964, and it was devoted to reversing the prohibition on political activities on campus. Now, don't get me wrong, they were radicals, but at least they actually believed in free expression. I think they generally liked the country. Well, not so with the neo-Marxists of today. They're sledgehammering statues and smearing anyone who doesn't bow down, open their wallets, or make a confessional on social media. These performance activists who've marinated in anti-Americanism online and in the classroom, they don't believe in free speech or freedom of worship or even academic freedom for anyone who disagrees with them. They've never really learned anything in-depth and positive about the Constitution, maybe besides that it was, well, they've learned that it was agreed to and written by a bunch of old dead white guys. Thus, history means nothing to these folks. Free inquiry means nothing to them. They want trophies maybe mounted on the wall, though, heads of old Confederate generals or pink slips for academics who defy them. A Cornell law professor whose website dared critique BLM is now under siege from a mob of angry left-wingers. One student complained his articles were, quote, hurtful and divisive. The professor is going to join us later in the hour. Now, last night, a similar story out of UCLA, although a different culture crime was alleged. The professor in the crosshairs, Gordon Klein, has taught business classes there for 39 years. And he issued this stark warning to Americans about the state of education today in America.
I was easy to sacrifice when they were weighing the principle of standing on equality of treatment for all students, irrespective of color, versus trying to placate the angry mob. It is absolutely a sad day for free inquiry.
A similar thing, by the way, is playing out in the University of Chicago as well. I just tweeted about it a few minutes ago. But this is a sustained campaign of personal destruction. That's all it is. The Marxists aren't interested in debate. They're not interested in reconciliation. They're certainly not interested in compromise. They aren't up at night worrying about cultivating peace or spreading prosperity to you. They care about power, getting it and keeping it. They want total and complete submission from any institutions where they can gain leverage to advance their goal of a full takeover of American life. And I'm talking every aspect of it. Remember when Obama said, "You didn't build that"? Well, today's radicals believe the only reason you own property is because you took it unfairly from someone else, or you got it by exercising your white privilege. And when you think that every American is living on stolen land, as they do, wicked and evil, well, why shouldn't everything be burned down? Why shouldn't its history be leveled? If it means they have to threaten companies to get their money and cooperation, they'll do it. If it means that they target individuals through intimidation, they'll do it. If it means using the horrific death of someone like George Floyd to market a vicious hatred of all law enforcement, they'll do it, and they did it. The family of Officer Shea Michelonis of Nevada knows just how serious these neo-Marxists are. He was shot in the head last week while working the protest in Las Vegas. Doctors now expect him to be on a ventilator for the rest of his life. He's only 29. Defunding the police will mean more violence, fewer officers to respond, and more carnage.
The real oppression and danger to our communities comes more from violent crime and lawlessness than it does from the police.
That was Bill Barr today in Dallas with the president. They did an amazing panel. And of course, President Trump upsets today's illiberal elites when he tweets things like law and order. Very short tweet. Well, he's not sensitive enough, they say. He has to be more sensitive. Well, on the contrary, law and order is what all of our citizens deserve. That is being sensitive. Not just the ones, by the way, rich enough to afford personal private protection if all police precincts are overrun. The populist conservatism of Trump is dedicated to improving the lives of all Americans, blue-collar, low-income, and entrepreneurs of all backgrounds and all races and creeds. Stopping the endless wars, forcing China to come to the bargaining table with tariffs, strengthening our borders, eliminating onerous regulations. These were all real actions that reaped huge results until the COVID shutdown. But now for a moment, imagine a U.S. led by President Joe Biden, who you know will just melt for the macchiato Marxists. Imagine all the old statues, the monuments, all those offending flags are all gone, all politically incorrect songs and movies pulled, all workplaces, all classrooms will enforce speech codes. Police departments will be defunded or disbanded. Imagine all that's taken place. Then what? How does any of that create jobs for the least among us, for anybody? How does any of that raise wages? How does any of that make our neighborhoods safer? How will it improve race relations? Patronizing symbols or gestures might feel good in the moment, but they don't end up putting food on the table or paying your kids' tuition bills. A good-paying job does, though. It's obvious right now that an alliance of media, political, and radical forces are trying to demoralize millions of law-abiding Americans who believe in equality and justice for all, and who also support President Trump. They want you to think that all hope is lost. They want you to think that America's best days are over. They want to stop Trump's rallies and even use a virus threat to keep you out of church and separated from your family and friends. Well, tonight I say don't let them. Don't give in to this campaign of demoralization. These are some of the most racially polarizing, vindictive people on the face of the planet, and they have no right to lecture you and no right to take away your voice. We do substance. They do symbolism. They burn stuff down. We're building it up. We're a free people, and we're going to stay that way. And that's the angle.